I think there's also probably an acceptance that there are some things, and I think, Bob, you mentioned it earlier on, there are some things that are best done on a regional basis than on a sub-regional basis.
Well, yours is a more genuine region. I mean, I come from the East Midlands, and you try to persuade somebody from Corby that there's a great deal of common interest with Grimsby. And most of my constituents don't know what region they belong to because it was left over when they drew up the rest, they called it the East Midlands. And it's all based in Nottingham, so we're all right in Nottingham, but you go to Derby, they're pretty fed up it's all based in Nottingham. So the different localities will come to a different conclusion, I think, about how they want to organise it. Having said that, Chamber of Commerce has very wisely, the Nottinghamshire one and the Derbyshire one have just amalgamated. But you're not going to get Northamptonshire to join in a hurry, that's for sure. We believe in this. We will actually allow the local leadership to determine what they want to do. I think we're reserving the right to have Secretary of State's approval in case some bizarre form of UDI is declared somewhere, but the North East does have an identity, and it's the North East to decide, really.
Well, let's have a few more bizarre questions. Yes, Tony.
Tony Sargentson from the Engineering Employees Federation. The one distinct advantage the UK has had is its very flexible labour laws. And in fact, in these difficult times, the flexibility of the workforce has been used a lot. And in fact, the workforce have responded magnificently during these difficult times. Yeah. However, that flexibility is under threat. There is a series of new laws about temporary workers, agency workers coming from the EU, and I just wondered what your thoughts and views are.
Okay, one more quick question. Yes, the back there.
Hello, Sarah Green, CBI. We're very impressed in this region by how we're moving forward on some of the green areas, which you've highlighted in your new economic model paper. Many of those have been brought together and programme managed at the RDA level. How do you say in future, what are you going to do to help us push those forward so that we can contribute more to UK PLC?
Okay. Right, well, firstly, on the question of the flexible labour market, I think the virtues of a flexible labour market are at last being recognised. And we've changed the culture in Britain. Ferocious battles took place in the past. But it is an advantage to have a more flexible labour market. And I think what's happened in the last 12 months is quite remarkable. I was one of those who thought we were going to go to 3 million unemployed. I mean, nothing is certain yet. 2010 is going to be very difficult. But what has happened is that people have accepted short-time working. People have restrained their pay demands. We've actually moved to a culture which the Germans used to have, but we didn't. That the well-being of a man and a woman and their family is the same as the well-being of the employer and the company for which they're working. And managers can have discussions about working practices which would have been impossible 10 years ago as people respond together to how to actually make sure that the business is kept on the rails until it can start thriving and expanding again. And I hope carry on. Now, wait to see what happens to pick up in demand. I mean, some companies, how long some companies can keep that going is still in the balance. I very much hope, we can, because that was the right response, but we're not out of the wood yet. We have lost some of our competitive advantage as a flexible labour market. Actually, 10 years, some of the others have made their labour markets more flexible, and we've slightly gone in the opposite direction. Fortunately, not wholly, as I've just said. The Agency Workers Directive is worrying. For years and years, the government resisted it with our full support. Unfortunately, the government is exposed, the governing party is exposed to pressures which we're not. So they've dropped their opposition to it and agreed to it. And now the situation is that we have been arguing, well, we've signed up to it now. So let's not implement it as we're in a recession till the last possible moment. And let us not go beyond implementing what we signed up to, what we're actually required to do. Now, we've won the first one. It may be, who knows, the enlightenment of the man I am now shadowing. He's actually succeeded in persuading his colleagues to put it off, 2011, which we have been arguing for some time. It's a start. But they're still trying to rush through regulations now. I can't think, surely nothing to do with any discussions they've been having with trade union leaders and campaign funds and things, but apparently there's a desperate urgency to get these regulations through before May the 6th, which we are currently trying to resist. Because, it's not just the political knockabout, it is the gold-plating labour market regulations is a way to lose competitive advantage compared with other countries. And it's quite an important issue, and we'll do our best. And we certainly, when we get in, will not go beyond what we're legally committed to in implementing the directive.
And Sarah's point at the back. Okay? Yeah, okay, fine.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was calling another question.
No.
Green, yeah, sure. Well, I met a whole lot of green lobbyists, but it included green commercial people as well yesterday. I mean, alongside going to a low-carbon economy and actually reducing our emissions, we also got to get some of the benefits out of this. The creation of a low-carbon economy means there are going to be new technologies, new jobs, new companies. There's a great deal. We must get the positive upside, not just the cost. And we are very conscious of that. And that is obviously part of business support. The one trouble is practically everybody, every other government, every region of the country, and everybody whom you talk to, in both government and opposition and in the private sector, lists the low-carbon economy alongside pharmaceuticals, aerospace, high-tech, high-value-added manufacturing, and the creative industries as the areas where we're all going to go. But we have to make a reality of it. My colleagues are working on it. We're producing things. We've taken up a green investment bank. I don't think we thought it was first. I think it was Greenpeace proposed it first of all. But actually you could have a green investment bank to attract investment which will be particularly targeted on low technology companies. To a modest extent, you could get retail investors in by having green ISAs, if you gave some additional benefits to green ISAs. I think we're looking at that. But in the business development we do, when studying James Dyson's proposals, what he thinks we should go into by high value added, we must take all the opportunities we can in low carbon technology area. The fact is we've been left behind both in developing renewables or low carbon technology, and we've been left behind on the manufacturing and side of the industrial base as well. So we do have a lot of space to make up. I was talking to somebody here. I mean, in my mind was the Northeast is particularly in renewables is well placed. I mean, I was asking. I personally have always been persuaded, having no technical expertise at all myself, that wave power, tidal power, potentially has a great future as a renewable source of energy. The tide doesn't stop. You don't have days when you haven't got a tide, and it's very powerful. And people who know more than I about it say it's happening, and they say quite a lot of it's happening in the Northeast, and I've been quite encouraged by the people I was talking to. Well, but there are a whole lot of other areas as well.
That's a good subject on which to draw this to a close now, because that is the subject of our conference on the 18th of February. Another trailer. Sorry, you can't be there, but I've no doubt that we will have a robust and informed and cross-party debate. So thank you very much indeed.